Alrighty, hello and welcome from everyone here with the Oceania Racing League. We are back underway this Sunday with some racing action here in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia for Tier 1. After a very eventful Tier 2 race yesterday, a lot of drivers who are from Tier 2 reserving for their teams will be looking to have a good performance here today. What the hell is wrong with that car? Anywho, 15 drivers on the grid today. Some new drivers making their first appearance for Season 8, with Guga now on the roster. Our championship leader, Trent Newton, and our commentator from yesterday, he'll be looking to continue his performance streak from Australia, see if he can extend his championship league from our reigning champion of Piastri Gate, who hasn't come out of the pits yet. One of 3 drivers to not do so. I believe Kuistra is already on his hot lap. Yes, everything is very wrong with this car, but that's okay. Alrighty. So we will go on board with Kuistra on his first lap of Jeddah. And a 128.6 for him, following close behind are the 2 Red Bulls. Clammy Kid isn't in the charge. And that's provisional pole as it stands. Oh, and it's instantly taken away from Rift. Already in the low 127s is Mikey in the Williams after a very disappointing Albert Park from him with a DNF last week. But the 2 Red Bulls looking a little bit off of pace, especially for Calic, Clammy Kid's teammate, in the 129s. Hopefully it was just a bad run, and we will see some pace from him later on. And our championship leader as it stands, Trent Newton, only going a 127.7. And Wicked Moist, something's happened there in the Alpine. He's already out of this session very early on. And SV, I believe, he's invalidated. Very unfortunate for him after also a not so good opener for him. PS Bomber and the V-Carb of JD Juicebox, his reserve teammate for this weekend, who has definitely invalidated there. Looking to build off of their momentum with a podium, an unexpected podium from him last weekend. And Piastrigo, is he on a hot lap? I believe he is. Yes, a bit of a toe from the Haas there. This sequence of corners that seem to throw some drivers about. One wrong move, one curb, and it could ruin the majority of your lap there as he heads round the medium speed corner. Back on the power. And on the throttle, DRS down to the corner here. Don't send it too wide. As he taps the wall there, I believe. Will he back out? I don't think that was too big of a hit, but that is at least half a tenth for him in the grand scheme of things. Danger has gone second fastest as it stands. A upset for him with damage in Australia for him. Piastrigo's invalidated. I didn't see that. So he'll be coming into the pits most likely, yep, as he pulls over into the lane. And PS Bomber on his outlap now. A lot of invalidations here, which is quite expected. Clammy Kid also. Daniel Avocado, a very, very strong performance from him in Tier 2 yesterday, with, I believe, a second place finish after the red flag. And he will also be looking to build off of his momentum after getting quite familiar with the track during yesterday's race and hopefully putting it on for pole, if not a better performance in the race. Trent Newton coming out for his outlap, as do others. Danger also invalidated, wow. So we're seeing a lot of issues already. PS Bomber now starting his hot lap. He needs to get a time on the board, as I believe this is the second run, so he nearly gets impeded by the Ferrari of Rift, I believe it is. And depending how quick his teammate goes, I believe he might get a cheeky little toe down one of the straights here, if he can get there quick enough. Whether that will be in play with team orders, we will have to find out as he heads through that low speed corner back onto the power. Get as close to the wall as you can and don't send it too wide here. And he doesn't hit the wall. Max throttle through here and hard on the brakes. Don't go too wide here, as he just slides the car around on through that curb. Now onto the main. A bit of a snap there, or that could have been desync. I believe it is desync. As he heads down to the final corner. Daniel Avocado's retired. Whether something has happened there, that is quite an upset for him, I believe, if it wasn't intentional. PS Bomber to the line, and he only goes 8th fastest. Just behind Clammy Kid in the Red Bull, who is also going to be starting his provisional 4th place seat in the second row. Use the curb to slow the car down, get round. Has he got any traffic? No, he doesn't. He might have a Williams, but I believe they are on a push lap. If it isn't, yeah, it is a push lap for Guga in the Williams. As he comes through Sector 2 in the DRS now. Slide through that corner. And only 8 minutes to go in this quali session. Comes around to the last corner. The Williams just barely in front of him. And he's coming to the pit, so he won't even get that bit of a toe down to the line. And can he take provisional pole? No, he doesn't. He only goes 3rd fastest. Still a 10th away from Mikey in the Williams. And the Red Bull of Calic goes 4th fastest while we were on board with Trent. A lot of invalidations here. And Quistra's car is still... Jeez, that is a sight. He's invalidated. SV and Piastri Goat still have not set a time in. The two McLarens of today's session. We are missing the showing of a Mercedes today, of any Mercedes today, with both of them being unavailable. And Piastri Goat sets his time. He goes fourth fastest. SV now, the only one to not set a time that is still in this session. As he comes around this last straight. Down to the corner, hard on the brakes. Don't lose the rear end. Back on the accelerator, don't hit the wall. And to the line now. Foot to the floor. Where can he put himself? It looks good. It's a 10th place for him. Just barely behind Clammy Kid. Getting pushed down ever so slightly lap after lap. And now, 6 minutes to go. Drivers will be heading back to the pits to get their final set of softs on and their final qualification runs in. As I believe Grateful Dog might be on his final outlap here. Unless he can get back in time, which would be a miracle for him. And Mikey and Danger. Danger is actually on set to take provisional pole as it stands now. A 10th up, but he's only just into the second sector now. And he invalidates, couldn't get the car around. And I don't know if that was a problem with the McLaren of SV impeding him. I would hope not, but Daniel Avocado is still 7th after retiring from the session. Piastri Goat still in 4th. And the final runs will definitely be soon. If not already happening. And Mikey has invalidated, actually, yeah. As he goes straight through. He'll be looking to either get round into the pit lane or to go on another lap, depending on his fuel load. As the next load of cars come into the pits. And a big slide there from Danger. Nearly losing it in the pit lane, slowing down to the 80-kilometer mark. And Grateful Dog still looking to improve, only in 8th place right now. Most of the grid are in the pit lane, if not doing their final runs, and the final runs will most definitely happen very shortly. And does he pull into the pit lane? He does not, so I believe this will be the final run for Grateful Dog. Where can he put himself? Slide to the right. Take as much curb as you can. Don't invalidate, as I believe he already does. Off the get-go. So he'll be looking, if not to just take it easy, or to get to the pit lane as fast as possible. And Quistra also invalidated. So both looking to get to the pit lane as fast as possible. 4 minutes to go. Our final runs are bound to happen any moment. Mikey heading into the pit lane, and JD Juicebox reserving in the V-Carb is the first of many to lead our final runs in quali tonight. And will there be a train that follow him? He is probably hoping, when he gets round to start his lap, that all of the runners don't decide to come out, especially with the pit lane in that little chicane at the front. Known to be quite the hazard for the race, or quali for that matter. Dumping them pretty much straight in front of whoever is on the track at the time. So, if I were to be him, I would be pushing it as hard as possible while keeping the tyres quite nice for the run to the end, as he nearly loses it there. Is anyone else going to be coming out for their runs? 2 minutes 40 to go. And here we go. Mikey is the first to lead the charge on provisional pole, followed by his teammate. and the rest of the grid. And as expected, JD has come round. As all of the runners have come out, he doesn't get impeded, but he might get a nice tow from those in front. You know, he just gets in front of the RB, and the two Williams are already long gone. He wouldn't want to invalidate here. Hang it round the left, on the right. He doesn't look too confident with the car. And that's horrible for him. Too much curb there, got straight under him, and he got stuck on it. And he's half a tenth down of his current time in 14th. See what he can do for the rest of the lap. He does need to make up at least 9/10 to be able to fight for one position in front of him. Hard on the brakes, don't take too much curb, and he's just not confident with the car, and he hits the wall too. That's definitely going to be an aborted run for him, as we'll jump on board with Mikey, our provisional pole sitter, followed by his teammate as he starts the charge of runs, helping his teammate there, Guga, in 13th, get a nice little tow through that corner there. However, it could pose a threat to Guga's lap if he gets too close. Ahead of time, JD Juicebox retires from the session, only improving by about a tenth it looks. And that is the end for him and his V-Cub tonight. As Mikey threw that low-speed corner back onto the throttle. How confident will he be? Keep it as close to the walls as you can. Guga, Rift retires. Only 7th for him as it stands. Get close to the wall. DRS open. Get to the right. Hard on the brakes. Move the car in. It's just beautiful for him tonight. He's in control much more than he was last weekend. I didn't see how much he was up, unfortunately, as he has a tiny snap coming out on the exit there. His teammate very far behind. Has he aborted his lap? And that's a 1:27.6 for him provisionally. Can Guga improve? No, he doesn't. He's down in 13th. That will be where he starts tonight. Now, where are the rest of the runners? Trent Newton, is it? Trent Newton, provisional pole for him tonight. 2/10 faster than Mikey in the Williams. And who's next? SV, only 9th fastest. Where will Danger place? Where will Piastri Goat place as he comes around the final corner? It doesn't look good. I don't know. He goes second. He puts it just barely in front of Mikey. Grateful Dog in 5th. Danger now looking to improve. I believe he took provisional pole there at the end. He does. Danger is on pole for the race tonight. Unbelievable performance from at the end there. But he does have a 5-place grid penalty. Will we red flag for that? He goes 2/10 faster. So your grid tonight: Danger, Trent Newton, Piastri Gate, Mikey, Grateful Dog, Kalki, Rift, Daniel Avocado, SV, PS Bomber, Kuistra, Clammy Kid, Guga, JD Juicebox, and Wicked Moist, who didn't get a run in, unfortunately. So the 3 that were battling last weekend are back, battling again at the front in near the same order, without Keith in the Mercedes this week. Of course, with his absence, are we red flagging? Let me just check that. I don't believe we are, as we go to 5 red lights. And away we go. Trent Newton will have the front seat. Of course, Danger pushed back into 6. He doesn't gain any positions there, as he's stuck behind the Haas and the Red Bull. And it's not Carnage on turn 1, surprisingly. At least I don't think so. Rift has dropped many places. Daniel has dropped many places, as there's a bit of tossing and turning at the back of the grid. Trent Newton round the very tight sequence of corners with Piastri hot on his tail. He'll be looking to keep him at bay for as long as possible. I want to see how many positions do people lose and gain. SV went from 9th to 14th on turn 1. Rift losing 4. Not too good for them. Danger only up into 5th now. And we'll get all that going. Actually, we'll see the tyres that they're on. I'll leave it as that. All starting on the mediums today, whether we go for the 2-stop or the 1-stop, whether how good their tyre... what's the word I want to use here? How good their tyre life is and how good they can control and preserve their tyres. As Mikey makes a move on Kalki there, as he just can't get around that low speed corner there. And DRS will now be enabled, as Piastri will look for a move. Maybe, no, he won't. He'll keep it in behind. Piastri makes a move on Daniel at the back, as Daniel reclaims it very easily. Wicked Moist back in the session, but he is very, very far back. And Mikey has retired. What has happened there? Danger has had a 10-second penalty. Okay, so there's just absolute carnage again for Danger and Mikey after horrible, horrible opening races for them last weekend. Danger with his entire front wing off again. And Mikey crashing out of the race very early on, only lap 2 this time. And Wicked Moist gets a drive through. I believe we are red flagging. I'm unsure though. The settings might be incorrect. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're too far in already. So we'll worry about that later. Mikey the boy, after a very, very strong quali for him, is already out of the session, as Trent, Piastri and Kalki are fighting at the front, as they've already gained a 4-second gap to the Haas of Daniel behind. And Piastri with DRS, with the battery. Will he look for a move here as he moves a little bit to the left? No, he doesn't. Trent just has that pace in the Ferrari. We saw it last weekend, and it looks like we are continuing to see it today. Grateful Dog, Danger, and Clammy Kid are all into the pits with damage, I assume. And Clammy Kid is the only one to change his tyres, I believe. Oh no. Yeah, there we go. All changed now. Danger is onto the hards. He'll be looking to put in a mega stint with the new wing. Already over 20 seconds behind 10th place. Behind only the first point scoring opportunity for them, as they'll be looking to improve the constructors for their teams. And Piastri in DRS again. Will he be looking to make a move here? Can he make a move here? With Kalki behind him, giving him pressure. Back onto the longest straight of the circuit. DRS and battery. Will he look for a move? Will he make a move down the left here? He gets really close on his rear end. Kalki hanging back a bit. Piastri is sure to make a move on the main straight here. You'd think so, at least. And he doesn't. Trent just has that battery to sneak away from the McLaren of the reigning champion. And SV making some moves here. I guess on some falling back drivers. In 8th place, what would be his career best finish as it stands if the race were to end on lap 4. That is. And PS Bomber, our podium finisher from last weekend. No, that's not PS Bomber. PS Bomber up in 4th. 5 seconds away from Kalki. He's made a move on Rift to get into the 4th place spot, earning him 12 points as it stands now. But Rift, hot on his tail, looking to claim that place back after not much happening in the front for the opening laps as it is. Guga up in the 7th. A very strong start for him. Quistra just barely behind and Rift in DRS now. Will he make a move on PS Bomber, a former champion in ORL, as he looks to make a move but doesn't? And will he be able to get enough speed compared to PS Bomber on the straight? And it damn sure looks like it. The DRS is open. He's used the ERS and he gets round nice and cleanly. PS Bomber moves out of the way into the first corner now. And as we just saw in the background there, the Aston Martin of Quistra just got around Guga ever so slightly, making that move. And they'll also be looking to keep it nice and clean throughout this track, with penalties, tyre degradation, and drivers crashing into each other being quite prone with Jeddah, after we saw all of those in the Tier 2 race yesterday. And we'll go back to the front runners. 6 seconds now away from Rift. They have made it, and all in the DRS train still. No changes of position. And Danger has fallen 11 seconds behind in last. And Wicked Moist, after starting from last, or 14th, he has made his way, or 15th, he's made his way up to 12th in the Alpine. And we'll just ride on board with Piastri Goat momentarily. Guga picks up a 3-second time penalty. And JD Juicebox has retired from the session. And I believe there is a virtual safety car, with all of our drivers dropping the pace immensely. Where has the car come off? I believe it's only pulled off over into the right. Unsure. But a virtual safety car has come out. I don't see the safety car on the track map. So this does give the front runners a bit of breathing room, or Trent at least, to conserve his tyres for the remainder. Apologies for that. And now we'll get back to it. Piastri has looked to pit for the hard tyre, which will give him a slight disadvantage to his teammate just behind. However, those mediums are looking to be quite a problem as Kalki has hit the wall. Where are we? Where is this? He's hit it quite early on in Sector 2. And does he have wing damage? I would assume he does. Yes, he does. On the left side there. That has really ruined him after a quite strong opening 6 or 7 laps. And the Scarlet Red Scuderia are provisionally 1-2 in this race. 9 seconds behind Rift is to his teammate with the pressure of PS Bomber and the charging Piastri with Guga and Questra just behind him on the fresh tyres. And Kalki has retired from the session. That's 3 retirements already in this race. Wow. We'll have a squiz at the penalties. 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and a drive-through for Daniel Avocado, which I assume he will have to serve just about now in this lap as he comes through. Yes, he does. PS Bomber, ever so slightly, making his way to Rift. Piastri also absolutely left the Williams of Guga and Questra in the Aston Martin behind, and he's only a second and a half out of PS Bomber, and in front PS Bomber is only a second and a half out of Rift. Jeez, sorry. And the Rift would definitely be looking to up his pace now. Trent Newton very clear in this race. However, that pit stop, I believe Piastri has undercut him. I believe he has, yes. Quite easily, I would assume. 10 seconds now. Yeah, so the gap is only about 12 seconds between the Scuderia and the Papaya cars. And speaking of Papaya, SV has made his way into the top 6 after his, I believe it was DNF last weekend. Daniel Avocado obviously in last. Danger is looking quite strong with pace-wise this weekend. And who... I don't think anyone has come off. Oh no, Piastri has made the move on PS Bomber, as they're now only 1 second out from Rift. And Rift is looking under serious threat from the both of them, which might round out our provisional podium for now of Trent Newton, Piastri and PS Bomber. Rift is looking very, very slidey, very slow, and he doesn't look confident in the car as it stands. Clammy Kid's been booted from the session. He'll be looking for an invite back, and Piastri is on the rear of that Scuderia Ferrari. And PS Bomber, what's happened to him? He's just fallen way back. He's 2 seconds down. And his tyres aren't looking the best, if I do say so myself. Questra not too far behind also. And I believe Rift will be looking to make a pit stop very soon, as yes, all the medium runners will be 9 laps in. Piastri on the 3-lap old hard tyres. PS Bomber with some serious pace compared to Rift on the same amount of tyre degradation, depending on their conservation. Another thing to look out for will definitely be how strategies plan out with potential safety cars, with potential virtual safety cars, and with just strategies overall. Definitely a mix-up in Tier 2 yesterday, with strategies evolving and devolving. I believe the two-stop looked the strongest at the start of the race, but then with 2 safety cars and 1 virtual safety car, that kind of evolved to a one-stopper, and you can see the McLaren of Piastri has sailed away from Rift in the background there, and PS Bomber is also creeping up on Rift, looking to hold his podium spot. And down at the back, Danger is looking to make some progress. Clammy Kid, I don't think, has lost too much time after leaving. As I say that, Grateful Dog is probably looking to make a move while he's ghosted. As Clammy Kid loads back in, Daniel Avocado, a very strong Tier 2 from yesterday, and he is... I want to say he's being lapped. He has to have been lapped. With, I believe that is Piastri in front of him, if I'm not wrong. It is Piastri in front of him. So Daniel Avocado has already been lapped, as he's already only 7 seconds away from Trent, who I'd assume would be looking to come into the pits right about now, as he comes round to not lose as much time as he is losing, because he's losing about a second or 2 a lap, which I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls over into the pit lane here, and he does. So Piastri has made the undercut work on the Scarlet Red driver, but by how much? It will be a fair margin, I will say. And it is a major margin. Rift comes in and PS Bomber comes in. All 3 of the front runners, other than Piastri, who haven't pit, have all pit now. All onto the hard tyre. Now, this is where Piastri is going to have to put in some serious work. Actually, while saying this, Rift and PS Bomber have come out just barely behind Rift and, just barely behind SV and Guga, as Rift makes the move on PS Bomber out of the pit lane. SV on the podium as it stands. He will need to pit though. Guga has already pit for another set of mediums. So I think SV coming out just in front of them, well, yeah, in front of them at least, has definitely helped Piastri go at the front of the pack. However, with 5 lap old tyres and Trent on his fresh set of tyres here, some serious work will need to be done to hold off the very, very rapid Ferrari there, as I believe Daniel Avocado is still putting in some serious work to keep up with Piastri, to not get lapped, which is on and off each race, or each lap, I should say. And Rift is right under pressure, I want to say, sorry, from Guga. And as the McLaren of SV is in front, he pulls into the pit lane. He gets out of the way, unfortunately, for Piastri, and that only puts, 14 seconds to the next car. Guga hot on his tail again. PS Bomber now into the picture. You can see him coming around the corner there. And Wicked Moist, after an early pit stop, as well as Grateful Dog, are our 2 last ones to pit, well, for their second stint. Danger is on 10 lap old hards. And up front here, Trent Newton is cutting down the time. I want to say about a second a lap, because that is what is happening. It was at 10 seconds when he was out of the pit lane only a lap or 2 ago. And Piastri will be looking to put in some serious effort here, as he's once again in front of Daniel Avocado. And Danger up into 7th. I did not notice that. He's had a bit of snap there. I would be one to believe that the hard tyres on the Aston Martin there are definitely starting to give out at 10 or 11 laps old, which might be a serious problem for Piastri coming up to that 10 or 11 lap mark, which he'll definitely be going on to mediums. Or will he make the one stop work? Will he be able to fend off Trent Newton long enough to force him onto a new set of tyres? If not, fend him off until the checkered flag, as Danger comes round into the pit lane. He goes, and SVYT following just shortly behind, now in 7th. A very good showing from him, well, very good turnaround for him from his quali session today, as Clammy Kid and Grateful Dog have a bit of a toss and turn into turn 1 and 2, as Grateful Dog keeps his line and Clammy Kid tries to hang it around the outside, as he's still looking for a go as they head through this sequence of left and rights. Hard on the brakes, keep it near the wall, not too much curb, don't go off. And Clammy Kid, he's just not there in terms of the pace with Guga. On only 1 lap older tyres, taking a different line. Now, Guga is our only driver with mediums on, and Trent cutting down that gap to only 6 seconds now. PS Bomber, 1 second away. Is he in DRS? No, he is not. Just barely out of it. He's using up his battery, as we can see on the steering wheel there, and he's made it up to the rear wing of the Scuderia Ferrari, who is still on the podium, and another 3-second time penalty handed out to Wigan Moist. I believe that brings him up to 9 seconds, if I am not mistaken. I am mistaken. That was his first. Apologies. And Grateful Dog goes fastest, as he's still fending off Clammy Kid just barely behind him. And we'll jump on board with Trent Newton, and we'll see how he is holding up in terms of his pace in catching Piastri in front. The question is now, with it being lap 15 of 25 and Piastri having 8 lap old hard tyres, which are coming to the end of their lifespan, will he be looking to extend it and try to wait Trent out, see if he goes into the pit lane? Because the next car, oh, as I say that, Piastri comes into the pit lane. I did not even see that on Trent's onboard there. So he has come into the pit lane, but what for? He's put on fresh hard tyres. He did not put on the mediums. So he's going to go another 9 laps on the fresh hard tyres, 4 laps fresher than Trent Newton, only 12 seconds in front of him now. And Rift only 6 seconds behind us. PS Bomber is right on the rear wing of that Ferrari, as he has been for the past 5 laps or so. He'll be looking to make another move here today in Jeddah. Danger goes fastest. Has he pit for new tyres? Yes, he has. 2 laps ago, he did in 10th place, so he is in the points, but by only 1. That is after I don't think he scored any points last weekend. No, I don't think so. Kuistra, a reserve driver for this evening, in 6th place, which will be, I believe, his season best, unless he did better in Tier 2, and my memory has not recalled it, as he is gaining and gaining on Guga on very, very old mediums. Look at the pace difference through that one corner there. You could see it from the helicopter camera. You could just see how quick Questra could get through there with Guga slowing down. Even here, you can see how much Guga lets off just to kind of slide or to get the car around without sliding it. And Questra up in a fifth. PS Bomber still hasn't made the move on Rift. This dirty air will be killing his tires 5 laps in. Will he be looking to make the late pit for mediums on lap 20? I believe so, as Piastrigo sorting out that gap that Trent has in front of him. Only 10 seconds now, 10 and a half. After being 12 seconds. I believe it was only a lap ago. Yes, it was. So the question is now, as I'll switch it over to Trent, will he try and extend the tyre life? And will he try and preserve those tyres as much as he can to the end? Or does he take the gamble and go on to either a fresh set of hards or a fresh set of mediums and go to the end? I would say mediums would probably be more beneficial to him. As he gets past his lapped car. Oh, geez, bit of a lag there. And we'll just ride on board with PS Bomber for a second. And wow, as I've just come back, PS Bomber has hit the rear end of Rift, and he's got a major portion of his wing missing. We saw the debris on the track at turn 1, and now this gives Rift some clean air. Oh, as he hits the wall. Jeez. And this definitely compromises him to Questra. And as I say that, Questra's gone straight on. And that's slowing him down immensely. I don't think that will mean much, as there's quite a gap between most of our drivers here. Not really any battles developing. Everyone quite far away. The only closest battle I can see so far is Grateful Dog and Guga. And what's happened here? Clammy Kids left the session. Piastrigo, I believe I've been booted. I don't know what's happened. So what's happened? So it's just ended provisionally, I would assume. Another issue with Jeddah around the exact same time as we had for Tier 2. And yes, I believe I've been booted. 1 second and we will get this sorted. Alrighty, well, quite unfortunately, I believe only I and one or two others have been booted from the session, and they are all amidst the quite underwhelming pressure of no viewers. Um, that's okay. So I will end it off here, as I don't think I'll be getting back in before the race ends. No one's responded. That is okay. Um, yeah. So we will see you next week, I assume. Thank you from everyone here at ORL, and yep. Thank you.